Hello, everyone. Welcome to T.R.D.E. That is the Rondu Entertainment Experience, and I am Rondu. As many of you know, this year marks the 50th anniversary of hip hop. In celebration of this monumentous occasion, I submit to you the 51 greatest hip hop albums of all time, 1986 to the present. Why 51? Well, that's 50 birthday licks and one to grow on. However, before we get into it, I'd like to talk about hip-hop for a second. Hip-hop is the soundtrack to many of our lives, including my own, and continues to play a key role in it. I remember back in the day sitting in cars full of smoke, everybody getting their flow on, nobody disrespecting each other, just having fun and seeing whose rhymes were the best. I also remember being young, watching the big kids walking around with boom boxes and cardboard, breakdancing, and battling. You see, hip-hop is more than just music. It's a culture. That being said, let's find out the definition of the word culture. The customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. So indeed, hip-hop is culture. Black culture to be exact. And you know what? Forget this shit. Ebro Darden of Hot 97 recently tweeted some garbage about the industry not checking for hip-hop no more, and instead looking into Afro beats and Latin music. Also, there's been more than a few YouTube videos dropping about the quote-unquote death of hip-hop. See, what you new niggas don't understand is that the industry never wanted hip-hop to begin with, and a lot of these DJs that claim to represent the culture are actually here to help destroy it. Now, I hear what some of them are saying about the lack of creativity and about how it's starting to sound like one big long ass song. And that falls on the artist's heads. A lot of them claim to be bag chasing when in reality, they pump faking. They ain't making no money. Only a few really are. Now here's a word for you, class. Unrecouped. And here's what that means in a nutshell. The artist has fronted money to make their album and is responsible for the payback. Basically a high as hell interest student loan. And if your album don't sell and you can't pay it back, you owe Pookie. You owe. Indefinitely. Or until you find the paper. I don't know. Do what you gotta do. Sell a note. Or have them booking alcohols or something. Which is why you have so many one-hit wonders. You understand? A lot of these artists are making 0.001% of a penny or some crazy shit per stream. Because of that, they had to keep releasing music to make some paper, which is why a lot of it's trash. They can't even fill up a club to get money. And now the old rappers. These guys are worried about being canceled because they're out of touch with reality. You see, because you can't cancel the streets, and hip-hop is from the streets. They used to know that. Today you have the industry telling the streets what's hot, and that's why you have so many weirdos and so much lameness. You might hear them say no generation like the other generation's music. That's bullshit when it comes to hip-hop. If that was the case, it wouldn't still be around. Like Make America Great Again, we gotta make the streets great again, particularly when it comes to hip-hop. And that starts with being independent. However, to be successful, you need to know what real hip-hop is. This is real hip-hop. This is not. This is real hip-hop. This is not. And I don't know what the fuck this is, but it definitely ain't hip hop. Moving on to the criteria, which is the RDC, the Rondeau criteria. This obviously is relevant because these are what determine the albums making the list, not necessarily the hierarchy. First, we have album continuity, which basically are skips. Do I have to keep skipping to find good songs, or can I let it ride all the way through? The less skips, the better. Second, lyrical prose. Can you rhyme? It is hip hop. I should be able to hear and understand what it is you're saying, and it should make some sense. Number 3, delivery. How are you conveying the rhyme? The slicker the delivery is, the better, usually. 4, subject matter. What the artist is talking about. Is it relevant to anything? It doesn't necessarily have to be serious content, but again, it should make sense to a certain degree. 5, creativity. This is important, and what today's hip hop is lacking. What you bring to the table shouldn't already be there. It should be something fresh, something new, something creative. 6, social significance. Is it relevant to society at the time of the rhyme? Does it address any issue? Things like that. Don't necessarily have to, but truth is always a good thing in hip hop. 7, let's get over here to it. Game changer. Has the artist brought something to the table that's truly original that the game hasn't seen? Did the artist raise the bar? Was hip hop different before the artist came? And is it better now because of their contribution? 8, production. It is music, so it needs to sound good. Is it different sonically than what's out there? Simple as that. I'll be checking off what each album has brought to the game, while also mentioning standout tracks. So without further ado, the 51 greatest hip hop albums of all time. Starting off at number 51 is none other than Marcel Hall, better known as Biz Markie with Going Off. This is an album that you heard coming out of every ride, from lowrider trucks, latch to box Chevys, and every other kind of car. The album was released February 1988. Some of the standout tracks are The Vapors, Make the Music, and of course, Going Off. However, with production from super producer Molly Mall, the whole thing ride. Source Magazine rated it in the top 100 albums of all time, and Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Going Off receives Rondeau checks for continuity, prowess, delivery, creativity, and of course, production. Rest in power, Brother Biz. You are missed. Next up, at Nifty 50 are 3 brothers from Brooklyn: Ecstasy, John Fletcher, the master rapper, Jaleel Hutchins, and on the ones and twos, Drew Carter, aka Grandmaster D, formerly known as Houdini, with Back in Black. The album was released April of 1986 and was produced by none other than legendary Run DMC producer Larry Lack Smith, and has the distinction of being produced in Battery Studios, London, England. What's worth mentioning is the fact that Larry Lack produced a sound totally different than Run DMC, while producing both Back in Black and Raising Hell albums simultaneously. Back in Black is a start to finish joint. It has no skips, with only 9 songs is straight killer, no filler that covers a variety of subjects. The whole album stands out as far as tracks are concerned, and I would have rated it higher if not for contextual issues. Back in Black gets checks in all RDCs. That said, rest in power, Ecstasy. Coming in at number 49 are none other than the Beastie Boys with License to Ill. The album was released November 1986 and was the first rap album to top Billboard and the second to go platinum. The group was comprised of 3 MCs: Michael Mike D. Diamond, Adam MCA Yauch, and Adam Ad Rock Horowitz, with Rick Rubin as DJ before his moving on to create Def Jam with Russell Simmons and becoming one of the group's producers. The album's original name was Don't Be a Faggot, but was later changed due to pressure by Columbia Records. Well, that certainly wouldn't have flown today as well. Consisting of 13 tracks, License to Ill bangs from start to finish, and has the distinction of being the first rap album to contain a song playing in reverse with Paul Revere. License to Ill is universally acknowledged as being one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time and receives RDCs for continuity, lyrical prowess, delivery, creativity, and indeed it is a game changer, as well as production. Rest in peace, MCA. At number 48, the legendary MCs from Hollis, Queens, Run DMC with Run DMC. You know, at first glance when looking at the group's resume, my knee-jerk reaction was to go with Raising Hell as the best work. But upon further analysis, putting the albums side by side, then going track for track, it's Run DMC the album all day. I've forgotten how hard this album goes. From Hard Time to Jay's Game and all parts in between, you don't have to skip a thing. Oh shit, bars. See, it's inspirational. With only 9 tracks and a runtime of only 39 minutes and 27 seconds, they ain't waste none of it. The album was released March 27, 1984. It was recorded by Joseph Run Simmons and T.R.D.E McDaniels, as well as Jason Jam Master J. Mizell, with the group's debut album. Production was handled by none other than Larry Lack Smith, who I mentioned before as being Houdini's producer. Told you they're completely different. This album is given credit for ushering in a new style and the golden era of hip-hop, switching from the Sugar Hill, African Bambaataa style of rap to a more aggressive sound. I'd be wrong if I didn't mention Here We Go, live at the Funhouse. It's one of the hardest songs in rap. Though not included on the original version of the album, it can be found on the expanded release. Run DMC gets every RDC I can give it, and a special shout out to Jam Master Jay, who I recently heard hadn't signed to the group until the 4th album, which is crazy. Rest in power, JMJ. Coming in at number 47, no one can do it better than Tracy Curry, better known as the DOC. The album was released August 1st, 1989 and reached number 1 on the US R&B hip-hop charts, staying there for 2 weeks. It was produced by none other than Dr. Dre on Eazy-E's Ruthless Records. Rolling Stone gave the album 4 out of 5 stars and The Source gave it 5 mics. The album contains what would be the last appearance of Ice Cube with NWA on the ironically titled Grand Finale. No One Can Do It Better featured contributions from just about the entire Ruthless roster at the time, which was NWA, JJ Fad, Yomo Malky, and Michelle A. Some believe that the reason this album holds its relevance is because of the DOC's association with Dr. Dre. I don't share that opinion. Out of 13 tracks, including 2 commercials, there's little to no filler. Some standouts are Let the Bass Go, The DOC and the Doctor, and The Formula. The DOC has always been viewed as an artist who most likely would have been one of, if not the best of his time. I won't go into his accident because this is an album review, not an artist review. Regardless of anything, No One Can Do It Better gets RDCs for continuity, lyrical prowess, delivery, creativity, being a game changer, and of course production. I highly recommend this album for those that appreciate real hip hop. At number 46, the best female MC in my opinion to ever hold the mic, none other than MC Lyte with Eyes on This. Lana Moore, better known as MC Lyte, is from Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York, and began her rap career at the ripe old age of 16. 8 days before her 19th birthday, she released her second album, Eyes on This, which undeniably is her best work and instantly became a hip-hop classic. The LP boasts production credits from Molly Mall, RDO 2, PMD, Grand Puba, and the King of Chill. Eyes on This made Lyte the first female MC to appear on the Billboard 200, where it remained for 20 weeks, peaking at number 86. However, on the Billboard Top Black Album charts, it peaked at number 6, making her the first female solo MC to break into the top 10 of the chart. Cha Cha Cha, the lead single, reached number 35 on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart and spent 19 weeks on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles, peaking at number 1. Continuity. The first 8 songs definitely ride, however the last 5 are subjective. In all, Eyes on This is a solid album that earns being called a classic. I neglected to mention MC Lyte's knack for storytelling. She's one of the few, if not the only, female MC known for it, and was probably influenced by this man. Coming in at number 45 is Richard Martin Lloyd Walters, better known as Slick Rick, with The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Slick Rick was born January 14, 1965 in southwest London before moving to the Bronx, New York at around 12 years old. He started his career in 1985 with Dougie Fresh, but a year later signed with Def Jam as a solo artist and was the third act on the label. The album was released November 1st, 1988, and was an immediate success, reaching number 1 on the hip-hop R&B charts for 5 weeks and peaked at number 31 on the Billboard 200. It was also unsurprisingly certified platinum. The majority of critics at the time gave the album favorable reviews, with the exception of Rolling Stone, which gave it 2 out of 5 stars. However, other notable publications that gave it favorable reviews are The Source, which gave it 5 out of 5 mics, Spin Magazine, which gave it 9 out of 10, and All Music, which gave it 5 out of 5 stars. At only 12 tracks, The Great Adventures is just that, with Rick covering a wide range of topics using a variety of styles and characters, performed by Rick himself. Some songs are whimsical and comedic, others serious and cautionary, but all done with his signature knack for storytelling, matching his flair for a variety of various producers, Jam Master Jay, Jerry Martin, in addition to the Bomb Squad as well as himself. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick is a breakthrough album that shows unmatched creativity and continues to influence generations of rappers, both aspiring and established. It receives checks in all RDCs due to its inventive use of them, which also makes it a one of one and a hip-hop milestone. Coming in at number 44 is none other than the LA Player MC Ice-T with Rhyme Pays. Ice-T was born Tracy Merrill February 16, 1958 in Newark, New Jersey before moving to LA after his parents passed away. He released Rhyme Pays in 1987, which arguably makes him the father of what is considered West Coast gangster rap. The album was produced by Ice-T, with additional production from Africa Islam, and is undeniably a hip-hop classic. With basically no mainstream radio play or music videos, the album became an underground success, going gold in the US. In an interview with Stereo Williams for Rock the Bells, Ice-T admitted that he created 6 in the morning after hearing PSK, What Does It Mean by Schoolie D, and that he used the same syncopation for his rhyme. Containing only 9 original tracks, the album has little to no filler, with Ice-T's Tales of Crack Era LA told for the most part from the perspective of a regretful participant. Songs like 6 in the Morning, Pain, and Squeeze the Trigger are some of the standout tracks, the latter 2 being filled with vivid descriptions of street life in LA that until the album hadn't been heard before. Rhyme Pays gets RDCs all the way around and was ahead of its time as far as addressing the criminal element and police violence in LA, which unfortunately still exists today. At number 43, the plug has been lifted from the adjoint jar for the coming of none other than X-Clan with To the East Blackwoods. The group hailed from Brooklyn, New York, and consisted of the Grand Architect Paradise, Claude Gray, the rhythm provider, Sugar Shaft, Anthony Harden, lead vocalist, Brother J, Jason Hunter, and Professor X, the overseer, Lumumba Carson, son of legendary activist Sonny Carson, whom of which I highly recommend the film on his life, The Education of Sonny Carson. In a recent interview with Lord Jamar of Brand Nubian fame, Jason Hunter, better known as Brother J, professed to being the group's sole producer, among other interesting facts. I suggest checking it out. The album was released April 24th, 1990, to mixed reviews, undoubtedly due to the group's Afrocentric messages. X-Clan was part of the consciousness movement in hip-hop during the late 80s and early 90s. Although this was their debut album, it solidified them as major players in the game. To the East Blackwoods contains 11 tracks with no games played. Professor X narrates as Brother J goes hard from start to finish. The level of creativity on this album is off the charts, and though sample heavy, it's the way that they're used to enhance Brother J's rhymes and to create various moods and feelings within the music that makes it different than other hip-hop offerings of the time. To the East, Blackwoods reached number 97 on Billboard's pop chart and 11 on Billboard's top black albums. Some standout tracks are Heed the Words of the Brother, Funkin' Lesson, and In the Ways of the Scales. Although the whole thing bangs, I'm giving it all but one RDC, and that's Game Changer. To the East, Blackwoods is a legendary album from a legendary, often overlooked group, but that's what I'm here for. Rest in power among the ancestors, Professor X and Sugar Shaft. At number 42 is none other than Too Short with Life Is. Too Short was born on April 28, 1966 in LA, before moving to Oakland, California in 1980. The album is considered his fifth studio release, although for those of us not from the West Coast, it's looked at as his second album. I consider this release to be his most complete work as far as RDCs are concerned. Songs like Oakland and City of Dope paint vivid pictures of Oakland during the late 1980s. Too Short songs during this time were considered by hustlers as music that kept you in the game, meaning they kept your head strong, focused, and motivated. At only 10 tracks with production mainly handled by Too Short himself, as well as several Oakland-based producers, Life Is Too Short is vintage hip-hop and classic Too Short. The album isn't sample heavy, with Short instead opting for synth keys, rhythms, and 808 bass that he became known for on his previous release, Born to Mac. Life Is was certified 2 times platinum and is his highest selling album to date, reaching number 37 on Billboard's 200 and number 9 on Billboard's top R&B hip-hop chart. A few standout tracks are I Ain't Trippin', of course Life Is, as well as my personal favorite, City of Dope. All in all, I give Life Is RDCs in all areas. And I know some people might have a question about the lyrical prose part. My answer to that is make your own damn list. The album raised the bar as far as I'm concerned. What else can you expect from the man that gave us Biatch? At number 41 is the trigger-happy motherfucking Ghetto Boys with Grip It on That Other Level. The group was formed in Houston, Texas, with the most popular incarnation consisting of Willie D, William Dennis, Scarface, Brad Jordan, formerly DJ Action, and Bushwick Bill, Richard Shaw. The album was released on March 12, 1989, and with little to no radio or video play went gold. In 1990, it was remixed by Rick Rubin of Def Jam fame and re-released under the title, The Ghetto Boys. This version contains one of the hardest forgotten songs that the group produced, City Under Siege. The original version was produced by DJ Ready Red, with additional production by John Beto and Doug King. Upon its release, Grip It received mostly favorable reviews, surprisingly considering its content. The Source magazine opined that the original was better than the remix version, an opinion that I happen to share, and in 1990 gave the group 4 out of 5 mics, later changing its review to a perfect 5 out of 5 mic rating. At 12 tracks, Grip It arguably has no skips, with some standout tracks being Gangsta of Love, Let a Hoe Be a Hoe, Scarface, and Mind of a Lunatic. Grip It receives RDCs all the way around, and if you like ghetto music, look no further than this album. Rest in power, Bushwick Bill. Coming in at 40 is none other than the Prince of the Golden Era, LL Cool J with Bad, Bigger, and Deffer. LL was born James Smith on January 14, 1968, in Bay Shore, New York, before moving to St. Albans, Queens, where he grew up from the age of 4. He released his sophomore effort with No Jinx on May 29, 1987, at the age of 19. Bad changed the game, picking up where Run DMC left off as far as introducing hip-hop to the mainstream, with I Need Love leading the way, becoming a breakout single, aiding in making the album a global sensation, and becoming the first commercially successful rap ballad. At 12 tracks, LL goes in with the album's first song, single and namesake, I'm Bad. From there, he takes us on a musical journey through mid-80s hip-hop, with some standout tracks being Candy, Get Down, and My Rhyme Ain't Done. Production of the album was handled by none other than DJ Pooh and the LA Posse. It was certified 2 times platinum in the US alone and reached number 3 on Billboard's 200 and number 1 on Billboard's Hip Hop R&B chart. LL's accolades and achievements are too many to list here. Suffice it to say that he's earned his recognition as one of the GOATs. Bad receives RDCs for continuity, prowess, delivery, creativity, game changer, and production, making it a solid effort by one of, if not the most enduring MC to ever touch a mic. I'd like to thank everyone for watching and taking part in the Rondu Entertainment experience. Please leave your comments. I'm interested in your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I'm here to truly represent the culture. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's lots more to come. Starting with part 2 of the 51 greatest hip hop albums of all time.